Good day, everybody. Yesterday, I was watching Fox News. You know, a lot of times the individuals remind me of Rush Limbaugh. I listen to him, yes, I do. And the reason I like to listen to Rush Limbaugh is I don't agree with half the stuff he says. But he gets me thinking about what he's saying. And sometimes he's way out there in right field, where nobody else is. Well, last night, somebody who does do a lot of explanation of stuff was way out in left field. His name was Glenn Beck. Last night, Glenn Beck, while I was watching him, had a bunch of chalkboards up. And he was going through the comparison of the Constitution and what these individuals in our government today are trying to do. And everything was going along fine till he got to this board with a blue cloth over it. Glenn Beck, you know which one I'm talking about. And on one side, he pulled it off as revolutionaries. New ideas, standing up to the government, the whole 9 yards. He uncovered it, and there was Gorge Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, I believe, Hamilton, and a lot of things that each individual stood for. And said, these are revolutionists. And he was right. They went and got the Declaration of Independence. Yes, the Declaration of Independence. They got their Declaration of Independence out and declared the independence of the United States. That's right. They started off, when the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve a political band which had connected them to another. You notice, they stood up and said, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people, that's the group, to dissolve, that's to break away, the political bands or the political ties. That's revolutionists. That's right. And that's what they did. They didn't get there and go into England and say, okay, we're going to change some rules. We're going to make it more fair, more equal. They stood up and said, no, this political system is not for us. Those are revolutionaries. Now, then he flipped the board over. And a lot of people around Obama he marked as revolutionaries. That's his big mistake. They are not trying to overthrow. They're not trying to break band ties from the United States government. Then what are they? If they're not revolutionaries, tell me, what are they? They're trying to perform a coup d'etat, or coup. Look at how they're doing it. Look at what they're doing. In the name of this rule, in the name of freedom of speech, in the name of gun control, in the name of the First Amendment, in the name of the Second Amendment, we need to modify or change, which will eventually give them full power. They didn't stand up and say, no, in the course of events, we need to break our ties with the Constitution. They are trying to overthrow the Constitution within the government. Now, you might say, okay, where do you get your authority to say that Glenn Beck was wrong? He's well read. And he's also brainwashed. Yes, Glenn Beck, you're brainwashed. Maybe you shouldn't be so well read. A little study of the history. How did the brownshirts or the Nazi Party get control in Germany? Did they stand up and say, in the course of human events, we find? Germany had a very government that was almost a nice, beautiful democracy that allowed everybody to flourish, even though they went through a great inflation and what we're going through now, depression. They got in there and they changed for the betterment, using the rules within the government to put themselves in power, to put themselves in control. Like what I did in an experiment once in our social studies class when I was in high school. They said to make a plan where a certain group of people would be able to control everything. And I did. I used numbers. And each number, depending on the number that was assigned to you, gave you certain things, certain responsibilities. When I was all through, the numbers had 3 numbers in the front, 2 numbers in the middle, and 4 numbers at the end. Yes, just like our Social Security system. And I used numbers to identify people so that the government, by using these numbers, letting the people know that the people who have these numbers are bad for the government. They are no good. And people who have these numbers, which actually, going along, are very good. And people who had these numbers were high class, well-to-do, and people who had these numbers were down-beaten. So, was Glenn Beck right? No, he was completely 100% wrong. Are they? What he said, is it correct? No. The revolutionaries were our forefathers. They stood up and broke the pot. The people he showed today that are around Obama are people who are trying to do a coup, trying to overthrow our government under their beliefs and their ideals, and they're using our own government against us by saying, oh, this will be better, that will be better. They are not revolutionaries. They are far from it. They are very similar to the brownshirts that overthrew the German government to put in place the Nazi Party. What they're going to be down the road, I don't know. If they're allowed to continue, they may be worse than the Nazi Party. They may be a little better or a little something else. I'm not saying. But they are not and never can be classified as revolutionaries, Glenn Beck. You are at this time 100% wrong. Yes, Glenn Beck, you're wrong. Last night, what you did was a great injustice to the forefathers of the United States to compare these people who are attempting to do a coup d'etat to overthrow the United States government using the rules and regulations within the government and infiltrating the government system. That is not a revolution. That is a coup. No other way. Thank you. This is JD. You all have a nice day.